Morning, kiddos. We're going to talk about in the EPA certification process. We're going to talk about the recovery can. There's a few things you need to know for the test about the recovery can. So you need to be a little bit familiar with it. One of the things you need to be familiar about the recovery can is that it has a yellow top and a gray body. If it's any other color, or if it's yellow and then gray, that's not a recovery can for refrigerant. A refrigerant can has a yellow top and a gray body. So that's one of the ways you. That's one of the best ways you can determine it's a recovery can. All right. Also, we need to know some information on the recovery can. First of all, we need to know if it's DOT certified. All the DOT certified cans will have a DOT right here, and then it'll have a number. So that would tell you that this can has been DOT certified. If it doesn't have that, then you cannot use it for legally in the United States. Okay. Also, all these cans have to be um, hydrostatic tested, which means tested with water. All right. To in When they're hydrostatic tested, they stamp dated when it was tested. This is a new can, so you do not see retest and then a date. Right now, you just see a date. So this can was hydrostatic tested on August 2020. So if this can was more than 5 years and it was retested, it would have retested and then it will have a date just like it is up here on there to tell you that it's been retested. All recovery cans have to be hydrostatic tested, retested every 5 years. So looking at August 2020, this is still in date because today it's 2021. So this means this can is still okay to use. All right. Actually, I lost about a year on this date. Even I just recently got it, and it's already a year old. So you've got about 4 more years left on this can. One of the things you need to remember a lot of times when you get the can, and what you do is you take it to the uh, distributor or wherever you exchange your cans at. They'll give you another can that's empty. They'll take the full one and then give you an empty can. When you do that, you need to make sure, look for the most recent date and make sure it's within that 5 years. All right. If it's not, then do not accept the can. Again, it has to be retested every 5 years. Always check the date. Look on here for the most recent retest date, and if it's within 5 years, then you're okay. I made sure they're at least 2 years or more on the can when I go exchange. All right. Also, we need to know a couple of things on the can, and that is, if you can, let me make sure I get it where you can see it, is the WC and the TW. WC is the water capacity. This is WC is the weight of the can when you fill it 100% of water. So that's how much the can will weigh. The WC says the can would weigh 47.7 pounds of refrigerant. I'm sorry, of water when it's 100% full of water. Right? You need to know the WC. All right? And you need to know the TW. The TW is the Terry weight. This is how much the can weighs when there's nothing in it, with just the can without anything in it. All right? And it says that this can weighs, you see the 2, it's always going to be there because it's going to be around 20. So this can weighs, the Terry weight of this can is 26.4 pounds empty, nothing in it. All right? The reason why we need to know this is we cannot fill this can more than 80%. So if we go over 80%, of most of the places we went to, when we've had technicians try to turn them in, they will not take it. You have to literally go back and get another can and take some of it out so they will accept it. They will not accept it if it's over 80%. All right. One of the reasons is it's a safety issue, right? And that's why you need to know how much, when you have this full of water at 100%, you need to know how much this can weighs. And then you need to know the empty weight. So when you can calculate it with the empty weight. So if you're empty and then you start adding refrigerant, the can will start getting heavier and heavier and heavier. So you can take and subtract the terry weight from what you have on the scale and determine how much refrigerant you have in this can. Okay, and again, you cannot fill this can more than 80%. If you transport this can more than 80% and DOT finds out, you can be fined for it. All right. And one of the reasons why we use a recovery can, you are not allowed to vent refrigerant. So you must recover it. You can be fined or get jail time if you deliberately vent refrigerant into the air. All right. Beyond the allowable amounts that EPA allows. Okay. Um, there's some other things you need to know about the can, and that's the valves. Blue, vapor side. Red, high side. This is the liquid side. Red is the liquid side. So if you hooked up to this hose and you put it in the system, you would go in as a liquid. This is the blue, this is the vapor side. If you hook the hose up to it and hook to the system and open it up, you would get vapor out. So low side, vapor, high side, liquid. Some of the things you need to know about that is there's a dip tube that's hooked up to the high side that goes all the way to the bottom of the can to make sure you get nothing but liquid out of that valve. On the low side, there's a dip tube hooked to it that goes just up to the top. That way it never goes into the liquid of the can. If it ever gets in the liquid of the can, that means you got this can too full. Okay? So again, you cannot fill this can more than 80%. We need to know the terry weight, which is the empty weight of the can, and the water capacity weight, which is 100 when the can is full of water at 100%. That the can has a yellow top and a gray body, and that it's DOT certified, and the most recent date stamped on here is within 5 years, preferably 2 years. All right, and I think this is a 30-pound can. There's a smaller can, and then they have a bigger cans. Depending on how much refrigerant that you recover. Again, you're not allowed to put multi refrigerants in this can. You're only allowed to put one type in. Once you put that one type in, you're supposed to label it, what type you put in here. And a good idea is to put on here how much it weighed when the last time someone put some refrigerant in here. That way you can keep up with how much refrigerant's in here. Also, one of the things I do is I go ahead, before I even start using the can, determine my 80% capacity weight on this can, and then I mark it on the can. And what you should use is not mark on the can, but get some stickers. They have some stickers you can get at distributors that you can put on here and then write that information on here to help you keep track of this refrigerant. Again, you cannot mix different refrigerants, so you have to have a can for every refrigerant that you recover for. All right. Also, when you recover refrigerant, you're not, if you get it from one person, you cannot take that refrigerant and use it somewhere else, it's someone else's property. The refrigerant you take out is supposed to go back in the same system that you took it out of. If not, it has to be recovered and then sent to a reclaiming facility. You're only allowed to use this refrigerant. If you use it in a different system, it's only allowed with the same customer or the same owner that you're working for. All right. So if they got 2 units, you're allowed to take that refrigerant and use it with the other unit, but you're not allowed to go to a different person and their system and use it for that. All right. I know it's tempting, and I know refrigerant can be expensive, but you can be fined or you get jail time too. That is against the law as well. So again, yellow top, gray body, no more than 80% of its capacity. TW is terry weight, empty weight. WC is the water capacity when this is full of water at 100%. It has to be electrically static. Um, hydrostatic tested every 5 years, which this is August 2020. All right. Blue side, vapor side, dip tubes up high. Red side, liquid side, dip tubes at the bottom. Okay. This is a 30-pound can. Hopefully, I've answered all the questions about the recovery can. If you have any questions, give me an email. All right.